Most spring we've been worried about the quarterbacks that are on campus. Should we be worried about one that isn't on campus yet?
Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, will Alabama go to the transfer portal for a quarterback for reals? Because you and I have thrown out the idea of it. And we said, I was on a Montgomery station yesterday talking about how, if Drake May were in the portal, I'm sure we would give him a look. If Caleb Williams were in the portal, we'd give him a look. I never even thought for a second we'd be talking about Tyler Van Dyke from the University of Miami as a potential Alabama quarterback for 2023. And I say potential very loosely because so far this is only rumors, but it's been heating up hotter than a Miami Sunday.
Yeah, last night, this rumor, now it's not a news report. No one's reported it. A guy named Bud Elliott, I don't know Bud at all. I follow him on Twitter, of course. He works and does videos, and he's credible. He's a credible guy for sure. But Bud Elliott threw that out there last night, and it started a wildfire that quickly made its way to various Alabama message boards and ultimately Miami message boards. And feeding the fire has been the moderators of the Miami sites who don't seem to deny this. As a matter of fact, I can't help but wonder if I think Bud Elliott may have been tipped off on the Miami end based on how the Miami mods are not acting surprised at all. They don't deny that Alabama is one of his choices. But let's emphasize this. This is huge, Luke, that people have to. There is no credible report that has sought this to happen. That's the speculation part. There's no hardcore news of that. Now, would Alabama be interested in Tyler Van Dyke? My answer is probably is my answer. First of all, I have a high opinion of Tyler Van Dyke as a quarterback. I think what happened last year should not really be held against him for two or three reasons. Number one, he had a significant injury roughly halfway through the season. So once he hurt his shoulder, just forget everything that happened after that. He was never the same at the end of last season. He's healthy now. And in the first part of the season, they're trying to adapt to the Josh Gaddis offense, and they seem to be having team-wide issues. I just don't hold 2022 against Tyler Van Dyke at all. I do think 2021 is a better look at him. And he started basically cited as one of the reasons Miami was back. I think he's a really good NFL prospect. He fits the old profile of what an NFL quarterback is supposed to look like. We might remember these days pre-Mahomes, but do you remember back when all the NFL quarterbacks were supposed to look like Matt Ryan of the Falcons and now the Colts? To me, Tyler Van Dyke is very much like Matt Ryan. I think he's very much like Kenny Pickett, who was a rookie who did a really good job for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year in his year one. So I think Van Dyke's a good player. I think Alabama would probably have some interest if he was in the portal and if Nick Saban and Tommy Rees aren't completely convinced that this fall Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson is ready to win championships. But in terms of is this really happening? Is this really a thing as far as Alabama is concerned? I have no information about that at all. And I don't know that anybody does. And I don't think it's fair to Jalen and Ty, much less Coach Saban and Tommy Rees. I assure you, they're not big fans of this rumor and the fact that it's being talked about so much. We're talking about it here on the show because we have to. It's everywhere. I mean, there's not an Alabama message board or social media application that is not talking about the Tyler Van Dyke. And on the Miami's end, their people are reporting, hey, Tyler Van Dyke's meeting with Cristobal. Tyler Van Dyke's meeting with the NIL people. They're trying to keep him out of the portal. So Tyler Van Dyke, considering entering the portal, is obviously a real thing. Alabama's interest, that may not be a real thing at all. Could be, but it could be. And I know a lot of Alabama fans aren't super familiar with Tyler because when Alabama played Miami, Tyler Van Dyke was not their quarterback. So unless you are people like me who just sit there and watch college football all weekend long, no matter who's playing, you might not be super familiar with Van Dyke. And again, he was injured and over the second half of last season barely played during that whole Miami collapse. He wasn't really out there. He wasn't healthy throughout a lot of that. And part of Miami's collapse probably due to Tyler's injury. He did have a couple of very good games last year against a couple of good teams. Again, I've watched him quite a bit. Big, strong pocket passer, good player, no doubt. Very tough to come up with an Alabama comp for him. I saw some people comparing him to Jake Coker. I love Jake. Jake's a national champion. I'll never forget Jake, but Jake wasn't drafted. Tyler Van Dyke might be a first-round pick. So I don't really think that's fair. I think A.J. McCarron is close. But again, Van Dyke's a bigger, stronger kid than A.J. at the same age. And maybe even, and I say this as a fan of A.J., I think Van Dyke probably has a little more arm talent than A.J. At the same age, So I don't know. I'm still optimistic that both Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson can be really good college quarterbacks as soon as this fall.
Yeah, that's the biggest question is not only, okay, can it happen, but is it a good thing if it happens? That's the thing. I mean, I would have to believe, boy, Jalen Hurts is the exception, not the rule, where you stick around when you lose your job.
Right.
And I can't imagine Milroe or Ty Simpson would hang around for that. But here's the other thing. We're in a world now where you don't have time to groom people. We just don't have time to wait for anybody to get good. And I'm not the one either. I'm fine with the quarterbacks we have. I really am. But it's concerning to me. It's concerning to me that perhaps our coaching staff isn't. And we're not saying they're not. We're saying, look, this rumor got started on a message board, like you said. Then Danny Cannell talked about it on his show this morning when I was driving into work. And I was thinking, this thing probably won't have a lot of traction. I get to the office 10 minutes later and it's everywhere. So it's and rumors are just that. They're just rumors, but sometimes they have a hint of truth to them. So I don't know. This is a dangerous, but maybe it's a game you have to play because you don't have time to groom anybody. Like I said, it's everybody's win now or get gone. So
again, to stress, Tyler Van Dyke considering entering the portal is news. I don't even think that's a rumor. I think that's real hard news. I think Van Dyke is seriously considering entering the portal. Alabama's involvement, now that's rumor. That's rumor. Yeah. And we're not even fanning it or spreading it because we don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true. I even have doubts that it's true. It might be, and I say it might be true because, again, I have a high opinion of the kid as a quarterback. I think he's healthy. He's easily one of the 10 best in college football. Or I should say easily one of the 15 best, but maybe one of the 4 or 5 best pro prospects at the position. And he also has 2 years of eligibility, which is why you're talking about Ty and Jalen leaving if something like that happened. Now, I'm not saying Van Dyke, he could be a one and done. If he gets in the portal, he might go pro after next season. Have 2 seasons of eligibility remaining.
And let's not forget Julian Sands coming in, and most people believe he's going to be the next coming. So, I mean, if those two were to leave, and again, I don't want them to, please understand that, but if they were to leave, if Tyler Van Dyke were to come in, he only stays 1 year. Well, you got Julian Sam coming in. Everybody thinks he's going to be the bomb. Now, of course, we said that about Milroe. We said that about Ty Simpson too. So who knows? I mean, it's going to be a wild ride with this thing. But now, speaking of wild rides,
develop a thing. That's a good segue into. I guess I'll just announce it here. I'm starting to.
Nope.
I am buying stuff. Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I got to do a live read.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Forget about me and my live reads. This one's about Built Bar.
Ooh, excellent.
If you're looking for a delicious snack but don't want all the sugar and calories, you need yourself a Built Bar. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices, and believe you me, I need to make healthier snack choices, and you don't want to compromise on taste, then I've got just the thing for you. That's a Built Bar. They're amazing. They taste amazing. They're healthy, amazing. They're amazingly healthy. That's what I should have said the first time. Seriously, they taste so amazing. You wouldn't even think they're good for you. You just got to try them. They got all kind of flavors like churro and peanut butter, cookies and cream, all those great flavors. You want one. Built Bar. You can get them at your local Walmart. You can get them at your local Sam's Club. You can buy them on Amazon. I've done that for my son. You can also go to built.com and get them right there at built.com because, of course, that's a great place to go. But go check out Built anywhere you want to get them. You can get them at your local Lifetime Fitness. If you're a member of Lifetime like I am, I see Built Bars there all the time, and I get me one after I get done getting beat up on the basketball court because I'm 50 and I still go out there and act like I can still play, and I cannot. And I get beat up pretty good. And so a Built Bar, it helps, make me forget how sore I am. Go to built.com or go to Amazon or go to Walmart or go to Sam's Club, get you a Built Bar. You'll love them. Jimmy, after this podcast, we want to have another one till after A-Day. I'm hoping to go with my 6-year-old. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll see you there and see some other friends there. And so we're going to be talking about A-Day either Saturday night or Sunday morning. So be ready for that podcast. That's what's coming up next on Locked On Bama. Unless something big happens between now and then, we might have to do an emergency pod, which we've been known to do. Speaking of spring practice, well, actually, Jimmy, you were going to say something.
That's pretty big.
And I stopped you, so go ahead.
I think it's pretty big. I'm treating it myself like this is pretty big. I didn't even consider saying this before the show started, but I mean, I need to at some point. And I guess it's better to say it now before Saturday as sort of a prediction or sort of in terms of who I think might impress people. I'm buying stock in Dylan Lonergan. Lonergan's stock is being bought by me. My trader is on the phone. He's going to be making a purchase today and make his commission. Now I'm hearing good things. And frankly, before spring practice, I would have bet on the other guy, and I still like him. This is not anti-Eli in any way. This is just pro Dylan. I hear good things, and I'm buying stock now because even after Saturday, that stock price might be a lot higher after Saturday. Now, am I saying that I think he could be the starter this fall? I don't rule it out. There's an above 0% chance of that. It could happen. I don't think so. I think Ty, Jalen, or a guy from the portal is more possible than Dylan starting this fall. But there's an above a 0% chance. I'm a believer in this kid. And let's remember, in terms of where he played high school football, and he was a starter there for a long time. That's big time talent he plays with and against. He's one of the few guys out there, Luke, and I think it's probably why he's done so well so quickly. Here's a guy that's not blown away by the speed of the SEC, not like other guys would be, even a Ty Simpson who came from West Tennessee, not Memphis, where, I think it's been a little bit of a struggle for Ty to catch up to the speed of things. I think Lonergan playing at a quicker speed was something he's real comfortable with because of the competition he played against. Might well be the best in the entire United States in high schools. That outside the perimeter, big schools in Atlanta, there's big time talent at those places.
Hang on a second, Jimmy. Yeah, okay, I'll tell him. That was Bud Light. They said, "Hey, good luck with a dude named Dylan on your controversial stance." Or a person named Dylan, I guess.
Well,
it's been a rough couple.
Didn't see that coming either. Didn't see that coming.
Well, I was, it's funny. The other day, I was watching Real Time with Bill Maher. I don't always agree with him, but I enjoy his guests or whatever. And he said, I don't really like this Dylan Mulvaney, I think it's Mulvaney thing with Bud Light. And he said, because I'm already having a hard enough time with Dylan McDermott and what's the other one's name that everybody gets mixed up with? And Dermot Mulroney. Yeah.
Mulroney. Yeah,
And
Mulroney.
he said, I'm already having a hard time with, I got another one to figure in there. He said, I don't know how I'm going to work all this out. And
See, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about somewhat, but I'll be honest, it drives everybody I watch TV with crazy. But since they invented the remote control in like the early 80s, I think I've seen like 4 commercials. It drives everybody nuts.
This is not
watching TV and we're watching commercial. Boom, I go to the news.
You're showing your age. This isn't about a commercial. This is Bud Light sent. I mean, everybody knows the Bud Light story except you. So just
I know vaguely of what you're talking about. I know there's
regardless.
There's I know
one thing, maybe we can get Bud Light to sponsor Dylan Lonergan.
hey, NIL money is NIL money.
NIL money. I'm with you, man. Don't turn nothing down but the collar. All right, Jimmy, let's go ahead and take another break. When we come back, let's talk about some things we expect to see and want to see as we get ready for and we're back. I don't know why I do this every time, like with my hand, every time when I say, and we're back. I don't know why I do that, but it's
even though so many of our fans listen to the show like a regular podcast on Spotify or Apple and you're in your car listening to us on the radio, through an app. A lot of people are doing that, but a lot of people watch on YouTube, and since me and Luke do this by video, it's easy for us to just assume everybody's watching the video. But that's not
it really is.
That's not the case. But it seems like when we're taping, always think everybody's going to see this. Actually, a lot of you don't. A lot of you smartly would rather not see our faces. That's smart.
I just dawned on me, like you didn't even get my Bud Light calling me on my telephone gag if you were listening to it because you couldn't see me on the phone. Okay. It doesn't matter. Jimmy, so last thoughts about A-Day, anything that you haven't covered, anything you want to bring up, or what are you looking forward to? What's the weather going to be like? I mean,
perfect.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Sunny and 72 with a slight north cool breeze. Nice. We need to have a lot of recruits there and tell them, hey, it's even like this in August. It's like this all the time. It's like this in August. This is a easy fall camp situation here because the weather's just like this.
But just anything about any of the other players. A guy that we haven't talked about a ton. We've talked about his former teammate and current teammate, James Smith. We haven't talked about Quay Russo a whole ton. And I saw a board post the other day from somebody who apparently has been to some practices like, y'all need to start talking about this dude.
Well, I like Quay. I think he's going to be a really good player. To me, I'm real interested long-term. I mean, is he going to play inside or outside? For those that don't know, Quay Russo is with the outside linebackers. That's where he has practiced this spring. That's where you will see him on Saturday. And, hey, he's probably going to be a starter with the twos simply because we don't have a ton of Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell both are almost certainly out for the game on Saturday. So, since the 2 first-team guys are out, the second-team guys are now going to be the starters on the Crimson team. One of those guys is almost certain to be Q Robinson. I hear great things about Q. He's really come on and is playing like a starter, and I think Q's going to look good with the starters. The other starter, maybe Keanu Coate, maybe Jeremiah Alexander, maybe. Quay would be probably last in line, but since you're bumping everybody up, Quay's probably going to start on the white team. That's the backup defense. So Quay should be out there a lot. He wears number 49. Good player. Is he long-term an inside guy? I tend to think so, but he was mostly an outside player in high school. Again, it's tough. Who's he going to beat out? People are like, Quay hasn't made a run at the line up. Well, right above him is Keanu Coate. And he hasn't played much, but Keanu is 2 full years older. He's been in the program 2 full years longer. He has gained considerable great weight. Keanu at 6'5", 230 looks the part as well as anybody on our roster. And he is a flashy pass rusher. That's the first guy Quay's got to jump over, to say nothing of Jeremiah Alexander and Q. So I don't think that that it's just an easy room right now to gain a lot of traction in. And I think the fact that Quay Russo has been quiet is not an indictment on him at all. I think it's just the nature of the competition at that position.
You bring up Jeremiah Alexander. This is a guy from Thompson, by the way. Traquan Fagans in the transfer portal. I don't even know we talked about that. No, we didn't. We talked about Jacquez Robinson and Elijah Brown. We didn't talk about Traquan Fagans in the transfer portal. Number one, sort of off topic from spring, how will that affect his younger brother, do you think? I know he came out and said, look, that doesn't affect me at all, but do you think it'll affect him? A guy who is listed as number 8 player in the country for 2025. And meanwhile, you bring up Jeremiah Alexander, and I want to bring up 2 points. First of all, I hadn't heard his name a ton, which, look, he hadn't been there very long, so I'm not super worried about it. But here's the other thing. We always talk about this Thompson pipeline, right? That's so awesome for Alabama, and I do love the Thompson pipeline. I don't want to stop it, but Jeremiah Alexander, who granted very young but hadn't done a lot yet. Talia Tungavailoa left the program. Tony Mitchell just got in a boatload of trouble. We don't know. His status is up in the air. Give me some other Thompson guys, Jimmy, on top of your head. Huh?
Amari Kite
transferred. And then Traquan Fagans transferred.
Right.
It's a little worrisome, right?
Yeah. I agree. I would say that Fagans transferring has to affect the little brother. It has to. And by that, if the older brother was still in the program when Antoine, who's the little brother, who's, for those that don't know, he's one of the top 2025 defensive back prospects in the country. He's an elite national prospect, a bigger deal, frankly, a bigger recruiting deal than his brother. Antoine will be no doubt a national top 50, national top 60 type player. If his older brother was on campus at Alabama, right down the street, it's Thompson High School. The older brother's on. You wouldn't say lock, because you can't say lock anymore because of NIL. You can't say anyone's a lock, but it would be as close to a lock. It would be like, I would say 80, 90% chance that Antoine goes to Alabama if his brother's. Now with his brother gone, I would go back and just say Alabama's just going to be in the mix. I don't think it detonates Alabama's chance. I think Alabama still would have a solid chance for any prospect out of Thompson, but I think Alabama's now just kind of in the mix. And let's see where Traquan signs. What if Traquan signs with Clemson? What if Traquan signs with, Colorado or Miami or Ohio State or one of those type? I would immediately go, well, they've just become the favorite, to sign Antoine. So I think it's a big deal. I know the kid says in an interview that it's not, but it certainly doesn't help. It doesn't help Alabama's chances, and Alabama's chances are dimmer today than I think they would have been before Fagans hit the portal. And without knowing, I've yet to talk to a source about that yet. But before I do, I'm just going to guess that they probably didn't want to see Fagans go. Now, there's a difference. Everybody's got to understand this is all relative. And just because they don't want somebody to go doesn't mean they get begged back. Some might. Some you recruit. Some guys you recruit them to stay as they're walking to the Rose Administration Building to enter their name in the portal, and you're talking in their ear the whole way when they're on their way to the computer monitor to enter their name in, and you're calling their parents and you're calling their high school coach, and they're like, what do we need to do to make them stay? That has happened. I think we all understand and realize that's sort of what happened with Drew Sanders. Okay. Other kids, they don't want to leave, but they're not going to grovel. They're not going to. It might be a phone call to say, hey, we're disappointed. We don't want you to leave. We want you to know you're wanted here. We want you to stay. But that's the extent of the recruitment, right? And Others, maybe get no talk at all, even though they didn't get pushed out. So everybody's situation's different. I worry fans think too much. They either want him to stay or they kicked him out. Actually, there's shades of gray to all of that. But I'm guessing Fagans is a guy that they probably didn't want to leave, but they're not going to Drew Sanders him all the way to the car, as he's driving off.
All right, buddy. That's going to do it for today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening and subscribing. We love you guys. Thank you a ton. Appreciate you so much. And go check out the mock draft that the Locked On Network put out there. Jimmy's on there. I'm on there. A lot of fun stuff. And so until after A-Day, unless something big happens, like, I don't know, we get a portal quarterback, roll tide, everybody.